Hello there and welcome to Tom's Warhammer Minis. Nekrosor Ammenter is considered to be the original Necron who succumbed fully to the curse of the Destroyer's madness. And now, wherever he goes, murderous insanity follows. In this guide, I'll finish off the new part of the Necron range of miniatures that are part of the 500 worlds in a very quick and very easy way that leaves an awesome finish of an absolutely incredible looking miniature. So grab your paints and your brushes and let's get hobbying. And we're beginning with Nekrosor Ammenter. It is an awesome model, and while it looks complex, we're going to make it super easy, simple and quick. So before we get started, things to note: the model, granted, is mostly going to be metallics. However, it is primed fully in white scar. After all, there is contrast painting elements to do, easier to have it in white, and the metallic colours adhere well to white scar. So that's noted. Also, the base is already prepped. So this is Astrogranite, nice and simple, going all the way round, because the nice simple thing is I need it done first. The actual way that I'm going to approach this model is going to be the opposite of how you would normally do a model. We're doing the base first. We're literally finishing that, getting all those contrast paints in, dry brushing it, and working our way upwards. It will make sense as we go along. This is the kind of method that I'm thinking, how can we get this done quickly, neatly, and perfectly? And this is how we're going to do it. So, with those things noted, let's get painting. First up, we're working on the base like we said, and we're starting with the soil. Essentially, we want to get all these colours in place, so we can do a cheeky dry brush that won't affect the metallic details. So to begin with, Basilicanum Grey is the first colour. Nice and simple, all over the soil, and just a nice even amount over all of the Astrogranite. Now while they will look different, it will be the dry brush that ties it all together. So avoid the bricks, don't worry about the metallic details. If you catch them, it's not the end of the world. Just avoid the sort of individual bits between the tail, just because that's going to have a Tesseract Glow effect. But avoid the bricks, avoid the main sculpt, just do the soil. Nice and simple. Get that done, we'll move on to the next step. Next up for our base, we're doing all of the rock detail. Nice and simple, we want a different colour just to distinguish the different materials. So this is all the loose bricks and the main rubble building that you see. If you catch on the metallic details around the building, not an issue. Like I said, they're metallic, so we'll be base coating those later on. The colour this time is Gryph Grey. Once again, in its purest form, start at the top, work your way down, get a nice even coverage all over, and just let it dry. And what we're going to do next, once it's dry, is put an all-over shade over all those different greys, and then we can dry brush it all in one go. Next up, we're going to shade all of those details we painted so far. Nice and simple, we're taking Drakenhof Nightshade, and this is over both the Basilicanum Grey, as well as the Gryph Grey. So just take your time, get that in place, let it fully dry, and then we can dry brush it all. Next up, we're taking Ulthuan Grey, and this is going to be an overall dry brush for all of those details we've painted so far. The beauty of doing this now, like I said at the beginning, we are inevitably going to catch areas of the tail, but guess what? It's such a light colour, it's not going to make a difference whatsoever, especially as mostly it's metallic anyway. And if you do catch the areas where the Tesseract Glow is, it's so bright a paint, it's not going to matter. So hit all those details, finishes them off nicely. What we're going to do next is move on to more contrast painting, but of the main character Nekrosor himself. Next up, we're going to create the green glow effect, and yes, it is obviously going to be Tesseract Glow. This is what this paint exists for, and over white scar, it is brilliant. So, nice and simple, all the orbs. You've got the glaives. Now, normally the glaives are done a little bit differently, but when you look at the box art, they're a lot brighter than normal, so we're sticking with this colour. Just makes things a lot quicker too. And then, of course, we've got the tail. Now, what I'm doing here, essentially, is going against the box art, where I've gone all the way up. Where the Heavy Metal team have done, it's from this one, roughly around here, and they've gone all the way down, whereas I'm going all the way up, just because I want to give the model colour. Think about it, when it's painted, it's mostly Tech Dynasty, it's all silver. So that's a lot of colour. That's going to be all one thing. We want distinguishing features, so for me it just makes sense to have some real bright vivid colours going up with all that other dark silver in between. Makes things pop a lot more. So take your time, use the box art as reference. We're not doing the cables, that's a different green. But for anything that's glowing and Necron style, this is where the Tesseract Glow is going. So get that done, let it dry, we'll move on to the next step. Next up, we're taking Warp Lightning, and this is for all of the energy cables that are connecting all the areas. Now, there are some things that look like they could be a cable, and they're pretty much just the straight kind of components, but they are metallic. So use the box art as reference here. So for instance, you've got this kind of thing here, it could be a cable, it's not, it's metallic. Essentially, the cables have all got curvature, they're all smooth, they're all curved. There's no little bits in between, like sort of where they sort of have a little mini connecting bit that's thinner going into a thicker slot. That one being the perfect example. That's metallic. All the cables, all the same. Different sizes, but all bending, all curving, all completely smooth. Nice and simple. Warp Lightning over all of them. Let that dry, and we'll move on to the next step. Next up, we're working on this kind of Noctilith crystal that the Necrons have at the back there. It's the only one of its kind on the model. The colour is Akhelian Green. Nice and simple. Just base coat it straight over. Move the paint around as quick as possible. Let it settle into the recesses. And just make sure you've got a nice smooth layer all over. Now we need all of that to dry. And essentially I'm going to shade most of it in the next step. But we'll cover that in the next bit. Next up, we're going to Biel-Tan Green, and I'm using this shade over 3 different colours. Firstly, not all of the Tesseract Glow, but the actual energy blades here, the weapons, just nice and simple, straight over. We've then got all of the Warp Lightning cables that we did, and then finally the Akhelian Green Noctilith stone at the back there. That's all we're doing, nice and simple, Biel-Tan Green. And then we'll move on to base coating our metallics. Next up, as you can see, we're drastically altering the model. This is an all-over base coat, and the colour is Iron Warriors. And there's a bit of theory behind this too. Essentially, there are armour panels, the claws, that are not this colour, and yet we're base coating it all. Nice and simple. The metallics that we're going to be doing later on, which are lighter, will require, maybe 2 to 3 solid base coats just to get a nice even layer. Whereas when you've got Iron Warriors down, A, this is only 1 base coat, B, the paints will adhere to the Iron Warriors much better than the White Scar. So just to save time, and just to make sure that we don't miss any areas, because being so dark as well, it acts like a shadow in that sense, we're just painting this all over. It takes time. Be careful when we get to the Tesseract Glow, though it's not the end of the world. We could always relayer in White Scar and just redo it and touch it up. The other thing to note is the green cables. I have caught them. It's kind of inevitable, especially the ones that are really tucked in. And I haven't wiped away the excess paint. Once again, theory here, we're going to give them a cheeky highlight towards the end, which is going to be Moot Green, and it's going to act like a relayer. Even though it's not quite the same colour as what we've base coated, it's going to be a highlight / relayer. So if we've caught a bit of paint on, it's not the end of the world. We can easily fix it. But this is every single detail that was in White Scar yet to paint. It is time consuming. It's worth the effort, as you can see. So get that done. We'll move on to the actual colours of the different parts of the armour. Next up, we're relayering all of that Iron Warriors colouring with different details. And the first one is going to be what we'll call the window frame. So you've got the bit that's sculpted here, and you've got the bit that's broken off onto the base. Nice and simple, the colour is Runelord Brass. And like I said, with the Iron Warriors in place, you'll only need 1 coat of paint for this. It really adheres well. So get that done and we'll move on to the next colour. Next up, we're taking Iron Hand Steel. Once again, because of what we've done, we only need 1 layer of this paint. This is over all the scythe-like blades as well as the claws of his hand. So you obviously got these big sort of tentacles that are coming out the ends there. You've got the one that's inside the chest where you've got 6 in total. You've got the claws, you've got the big scythes. Nice and simple, just a nice even layer of this all over. And obviously the other one to point out, the tail. Don't forget that one too. Get that done and we'll move on to the next step. And finally, for base coating our metallics, we're finishing off with Canoptek Alloy. Nice and simple. We've got the shoulder pads, and that includes the undersides. I've done the face, but not the entire head. So this is just the front face plate. And then we've got this little armor pad just here that I'm just going around on the wrist. Nice and simple, it's the only one there. So it's those 3 details, and it just creates some distinguishing features. Now mostly when we do the dry brushing later on, it's just going to be one overall colour that will tie all of it together. But we've got 3 unique features. Let all of that metallic fully dry, and then we'll shade them all together. Next up, we're going to do our first shade. There's going to be 2, but this is only for the basing details. So for Nekrosor, this is nothing on him. We've got the window frame, we've got the metallic details on the base. This is what we're focusing on. The colour is Agrax Earthshade. Nice and simple. I'm going in this colour just because it's brown. It just adds to the dirt and rubble and destruction effect. So get that done, let it dry. While it's drying, you can move on to Nekrosor. Next up, we are taking Berserker Bloodshade, and there's a lot of theory behind this. So essentially, we've done the metallics on the base. We did that Agrax Earthshade. Berserker Bloodshade is going over every single metallic detail that we have yet to do. So basically, the entirety of Nekrosor. Theory here, Nekrosor and Necrons like him are part of the Destroyer cults. They are lost to madness and all that bloodlust and rage. So, being a red paint, it creates, as you can see, this blooded effect all over. Which, when you look at the box art, a lot of the metallics are tinted this way. So pretty much most of the work and showing the brutality of this character is done in one overall go. So nice and simple, take your time, take each section, paint it all over, try to avoid the Tesseract Glow. There are a couple of areas where I have got it on, and to be honest, I'm not wiping that away because it just adds to the effect. For instance, I've got a little bit on the blade and it just adds to the effect, but I'm not directly doing it. If anything, it's like a serendipitous mistake which works in favour rather than deliberately targeting those areas. So with that done, our model is battle ready. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant. We are going to add a few little cheeky highlights. There's not much to do at all at this stage. It literally is, for this type of model, of course you can do it in traditional methods, but it is, for simplicity, pure dry brushing only for the most part. So let all of that dry, and then we'll get to highlighting. Starting with our highlights, we're keeping things very, very simple. It means it's going to be finished super speedy quick. First colour, Stormhost Silver, and this is a dry brush. And I've used a medium-sized dry brush here, and this is catching all of the metallic details. So the ones on the base and Nekrosor himself, we're just doing it in one go. Creates a real nice vivid shine, but still keeping all of those shade paints in place, showing the grime on the base, showing the brutality of the character itself. So get that done, and we'll move on to the next step. Next up, sticking with dry brushing, and we're moving to a small dry brush here because we need tiny little size. We're taking Gauss Blaster Green, and this is for our Akhelian Green, sort of Noctilith Stone, just at the back there. Just catch each of the angles, nice and simple. Then, sticking with a small dry brush, we're taking Dorn Yellow. I'm applying just a tiny amount just to the blades, and just a little bit to the most top part, so we're not catching the metallics of our giant orbs. So I'm not doing all of them, though if you want to do the little ones, absolutely stick to a small layer brush and just give it a little dot. But this is for the big stuff and the blades. Nice and simple, and then we'll move on to the next step. Moving on from that, we're going to do our one thing that's not going to be dry brushing. This is where we do need a small layer brush. We're taking Moot Green, like I previously mentioned. This is kind of an edge highlight, but also a relayer over the brightest areas of all of those energy cables. Essentially, it will correct any mistakes when it came to the base coating and shading, and it just makes things that a little bit more brighter, but still keeping to the same theme of the original base coat. So, get that done, and then we'll move on to the next step. Finally, we're going to take Blood for the Blood God. Using a small dry brush, we're going to stipple on rather than dry brushing. This is going all over the claws and the scythe blades, just to add to that brutality. The Berserker Bloodshade's great for the overall effect, but we want the real gore to be where the weapons actually are. So, with a paint like this, apply as little or as much as you want. I've gone heavier just because I want to show off the brutality of the model. Finally, we are going to Ardcoat, and I'm using the gloss varnish over the big orbs as well as the blades. Nice and simple, just to give it that extra shine and glow effect in natural light. It's a cheeky way of doing it, but it works wonders. Now with that, Nekrosor is done, and he is incredible. What I'm going to do now is paint the rim of the base to make that nice and neat, and the colour will be Abaddon Black. And just to add a few tufts and details to the base, just to enhance it that little bit more. And there we have it. Nekrosor Ammenter is complete. Another fantastic Necron model. Love the Nightbringer, and while he's not as grand as a Nightbringer in that sense, he's grand in its own unique way. It is such an awesome model, super easy to build, and just an incredible sculpt. Very dynamic, I love it. And if this guide has inspired you, because it does make him really quick and easy to paint, then please do give it that all important like and share it. And I always say this in all my videos, and I always mean it when I say it. This isn't about being fame hungry. This guide exists to help you, the Warhammer community. By sharing it, you're helping others. It's as simple as that. But if you haven't already, then do please consider subscribing, because that's what helps the channel grow. And the more it grows, the more it's supported, the more I get to support you, the awesome Warhammer community. So, until that next video, do look after yourselves, and happy hobbying.